With the launch of the Nintendo Switch coming up, more information about potential new big games is starting to drop, and we're going to go over a couple of those in addition to some updates to a game that was notoriously broken, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, or notoriously had some issues. We've got more details on what you can expect day one on the Nintendo Switch 2 with the big update. But let's go ahead and first jump into this brand new game that is rumored or somewhat leaked, or something happened with this. It's called Crimson Desert. It's a huge open world RPG action type of game, or action adventure type of game. Necro Felipe from Universal Nintendo has talked about this rumor. So on Twitter, he said that rumor, Crimson Desert from Pearl Abyss may have a version for Nintendo Switch 2. This is an open world action adventure game listed by GameStop for Nintendo platform. So it is there. Crimson Desert looks pretty impressive overall. I never really knew what this game was beforehand. I never saw it and I didn't know what it was, but the more that I look at this game, Crimson Desert, I'm checking out the screenshots from GameStop, the more it actually looks like a pretty cool type of game, like a Witcher type of style or something like that. I mean, you've got a horse in here too, a little bit of shades of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or something, but it looks gorgeous overall. And if this game did come to the Nintendo Switch 2, that would be very nice, considering it's got a little bit of like a cult following online. I have seen some people talk about this rumor and say this would be a pretty cool game overall. The features says, welcome to the beautiful yet brutal continent of Puel. From the snow-blasted mountains to the Kiwidin to the verdant expanses of Akpen, the towering ridges scattering the Crimson Desert, this land is a testament to nature's grandeur. Yet amidst this beauty, the continent stands locked in a war as factions vie for unprecedented power. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced any of the names here. Discover adventure, explore exciting locations, and fight thrilling battles as you travel across an incredible open world filled with wonder and mystery. We've got some more features too about the game. Join Cliff, captain of the Greymanes, and his comrades as they embark on a relentless journey to defend Puel and fulfill their missions. Face trials to uncover the truth of the catastrophe looming over Puel and restore the peace to the continent. Along your perilous path stands both dependable allies and countless foes who will stop at nothing to see your downfall. So yeah, it's a single player game from Pearl Abyss as the publisher and developer, and they're talking about it as a adventure game. It is listed for the Nintendo Switch 2. So if you can get a game, pretty graphically intense type of game like this, I think it once again shows what the Nintendo Switch 2 can do, and even more so what third-party developers are kind of shifting to because of the changing marketplace. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm going to make a video on this individually, but I've discussed how the Xbox Series is kind of like on its way out overall. The sales were not necessarily where Microsoft would have wanted, or even third-party developers, and the Nintendo Switch 2 is an opportunity to kind of slide into that spot after the PlayStation 5 in order for third-party developers to really take advantage of and make a ton of money. So I think that making Nintendo Switch 2 versions of your games, if you can get them going, is absolutely a good idea, considering you don't know where Microsoft hardware is going to go from here. You don't know how well it's going to sell in the future, and it could be a lost opportunity in terms of what you're used to, because we know that the Xbox 360, obviously third-party sales on there, Xbox One, but things kind of took a turn for the worse with the Xbox Series. So you need a dependable place where they're going to actually sell a lot of systems so you can sell more games, and Nintendo Switch 2 might be that slide in replacement for the Xbox Series as Microsoft pivots to being more of a third-party major or massive publisher overall. But once again, we're going to have to wait and see on this. Crimson Desert does seem like it's going to be coming to Nintendo Switch 2, and it does seem like a lot of you guys are going to be hitting that subscribe button for those who are not. So make sure you hit that sub button, hit that like button, and click that notification bell, and let me know what you think about Crimson Desert potentially coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. All right, let's check out this next topic here, guys, because we're going to discuss the game, like I mentioned earlier, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, this game obviously littered with a bunch of issues overall from the jump, man. There was problems when it comes to the glitches, there was bugs, obviously the frame rate was not great, the graphics were subpar. There were so many issues with this game. Despite that, it's still the second best-selling Pokemon game of all time right now at this point, because the core nucleus, the combat in the game and what it does is actually pretty good. I played through and beat the game, but I had to stop at the DLC because the frame rate and resolution was just too bad. Really just more like the frame rate was just way too bad. And I was waiting for a potential Nintendo Switch 2 patch, as we got a leak for this a while ago. There was a guy who actually got a ton of information right about the DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and he also mentioned in that Nintendo Switch 2 is going to get a update to make the games run better. So I figured, you know what, there's no need for me to continue on here. I can just play it when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2. Now we have more details. We knew that this was coming, but now we have more details on this. Shout out to my man Stealth on here, and it says that there are better visuals, better frame rate, better draw distance, better movement, and a more lively looking areas overall. So they didn't give us any new screenshots from the link that Stealth provided. It's the same screenshots that we talked about when I first covered this article with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, one of them by the water, then the other one in like the grass next to one of the cities. But what you can see as I've been able to look more, it's going to populate Pokemon a bit more. It looks sharper overall, it looks cleaner. It looks like they did potentially bump this up to at least minimum. People talk about 4K, 1440p, whatever. It's significantly higher than what we've got before. They uploaded it in 4K. The screenshots are there, but we'll see if it actually runs native in that. And obviously you can tell just by like how much cleaner the game looks. The graphics overall are definitely not up to where you want it to be, because the sharpening of the game definitely lets you look at the flaws maybe even a bit more. But I don't think it's the graphics that's overall the issue. It's the frame rate. This shot right here, when it comes to you being in the lake, in the original game, there was no way that you're going to have this many Pokemon even around. And if you did have this many Pokemon around in a lake or in water, the game would be running like at 15 to 20 something frames per second. It was terrible. Even during the turn-based battles, it'd be lagging during that. So I think that's the biggest thing with this game. Actually getting it to where it's an acceptable frame rate, to where it's not lagging when you're going in water, or to when you're just trying to capture Pokemon. I didn't go through whole sections of this game, especially around the water, because of how bad it was lagging. But if they can render all these Pokemon that you can see right here on top of you being in water and Pokemon rendering and also seeing some reflections and some stuff there, they definitely touched this one up a bit more than maybe some would have thought. Some people thought maybe they would just basically make it to where it's a lock 30 and maybe 1080p or something like that, but it seems like they went a little bit further. Once again, still not incredible or anything like that, but I'm absolutely going to replay these games, or more like I'm going to play the stuff that I didn't play beforehand. And to me, this is a huge boost to the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. We were talking about this on one of my live streams recently. This is the most content-packed launch that Nintendo's ever had when it comes to first, third party, well, more like just third party overall, and then the amount of stuff when it comes to first party games that you can play backwards compatible with updates. There's Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, there's Super Mario Odyssey, there's a bunch of games, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There's some cool stuff on top of Nintendo Switch 2 editions of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, fixing some of the main issues with those games. And for me, Tears of the Kingdom not having frame rate drops whenever you pull out the Ultra Hand is going to be a great thing overall, to go back and actually do everything that I missed, or even get the Master Mode when it comes to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That game, I never really played through the Master Mode because I felt like, you know what, I should just wait for the Nintendo Switch 2 version. So for me, there's plenty of reasons to go back into some of these previous games, in addition to having a game like Mario Kart World as well, a massive first party game. So to me, this is by far the best that we've got when it comes to Nintendo supporting with content for a launch. And of course, on top of great third party games like Street Fighter 6, Bravely Default, Cyberpunk 2077, Rune Factory, and more. So for me, this is definitely one of the better, if not the best launch Nintendo's had. So we'll see how all this works out with the backwards compatible free update games with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and this improved frame rate and all that. I'm hoping that it's 60 frames per second, but we'll see if they just lock it down to 30 or something like that. Maybe they couldn't get it above 60 because they haven't actually showed any gameplay of it. They've just shown these still shots. So it could be a 1080p 30 type of thing, or it could be a 60 target. Maybe there's dips, or it could just be a lock 60. We don't really know right now, so we'll have to wait and see. So we'll definitely be finding out very soon here, probably early next week. So what do you guys think about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet getting these updates and the launch here? Let me know in the comment section below. But now we're going to move on to, it looks like a leak that wasn't supposed to happen, and that is Persona 4 Remake is in development, and this was pretty much confirmed from one of the major voice actors of the original game. So Yuri Lowenthal, you guys all know and love him. He basically put up something on Blue Sky that ended up deleting it because he was not supposed to talk about it. And he says this: and for those who keep asking, no, I will not be returning as Yusuke for the Persona 4 Remake. I asked, maybe I even begged, but they don't want me to come back. So he said that on May 28th, 2025 at around 3:37 p.m. Now that tweet is now deleted at this point, and I wanted to kind of wait just a little bit before I talked about it more to see what was going on, just to make sure that there wasn't some type of troll or something. But no, that's definitely him. And yes, Persona 4 Remake is coming, and of course it's coming. Persona 3 Reload sold 1 million copies. It was one of Atlus's fastest selling games before Metaphor Refantasio dropped. Of course, they were going to take those assets, they were going to reuse them and put it into Persona 4 with Unreal Engine 4. We knew that was going to happen, and Persona 4 Golden is one of the greatest RPGs of all time, so it makes complete sense. There is a dedicated base of Atlus fans that are ready to buy the game, but it's very unfortunate that Mr. Yuri is not going to be coming back here. It would have been great to have the original cast, but it seems like some of the other original cast members won't be coming back as well, so I'm not really sure what is going on there, but I guess we're gonna find out pretty soon. I wouldn't be surprised if Persona 4 Golden, the remake, is announced like at a Nintendo Direct or even at Summer Games Fest for Nintendo Switch 2 and for Xbox and PlayStation and PC. So we'll see. I would guess that the game would probably come out early next year if we're going off of how Persona 3 Reload dropped last year early. So maybe they give it about 2 years in between. So maybe we see the game early 2026, but we're going to have to wait and see for the full details on that. But yeah, Persona 4 Remake is definitely a thing, and it should be happening. We'll probably get an announcement of it sometime this year, because I'm not sure if Persona 6 is being announced this year, although it's been rumored to be announced, but I guess they'd have to have Persona 4 first, right? Before Persona 6, but who knows at this point. Atlus, they just kind of do whatever they want. So what do you guys think about Persona 4 and the remake? Pretty much confirmed at this point. Let me know in the comment section below. But now we're going to move on to another topic here. We've got what Target had to say about the stock of the Nintendo Switch 2 hardware. Now, apparently, back on April 24th, when pre-orders went live here in the US, they completely sold out of their stock in under 2 hours. However, they will have some stock for walk-ins on June 5th while supplies last. So this is something that Jake Randall has been covering. Just look out on his channel. He talks about it. There are going to be multiple places like Best Buy, Walmart, and Target that do have extra stock. I think even GameStop will have some. So you need to check or call in and see if they do, but a lot of them will. Obviously, the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be a hot commodity. You saw how people were snapping up those pre-orders. And one of the biggest things when it comes to the US that you have to realize compared to other markets is that Nintendo probably has the highest and most stock allocation for the Nintendo Switch 2 here in the US. And they've been stockpiling the Nintendo Switch 2 because of the threat of the tariffs moving their base of operations in terms of manufacturing from China to Vietnam to avoid those massive tariffs and a potential disaster for the Nintendo Switch 2 price. And the bet actually paid off because there are massive tariffs from China, and the Xbox series of consoles plus accessories and all that have been hit tremendously with them. So Nintendo was able to keep the price of the Nintendo Switch 2 down to $450 and $500 respectively for the bundle. Now, if you're looking at it when it comes to the popularity of the system, obviously it's going to be popular starting out first. You have the hardest core of Nintendo fans, the 20 and 30 and some of them 40-year-olds, the biggest stock of people who actually played the Nintendo Switch 2. They're going to be excited. They have money to buy the system. It's not going to be a problem for them at all. They're going to rush in there and they're going to buy it. Now, of course, the extended audience, you're going to have to market. You're going to have to show more. You see stuff like Mario Kart. That's a great first step to get people to buy into the system, considering Mario Kart 8 is one of Nintendo's best-selling games of all time with well over 70 million units sold when you combine the Nintendo Switch version with the Wii U version of the game. So you're going to have that going for it. But I think that the other games that are coming out later in the year, here. Obviously, Donkey Kong is going to be big. The movie made Donkey Kong even a bigger star than he was. You're going to have stuff like Metroid Prime 4 for the core fan base out there. You're going to have Age of Calamity, Kirby Air Riders. These are the type of games that'll get people really interested when it comes to the core base. But then you also have a little bit more of the expanded and core with Pokemon Legends ZA and other titles coming through. There's going to be third-party games, but the big thing is going to be the second wave of systems overall, because throughout this year or the rest of this year, it's going to be the core base that's buying this system as it becomes more and more available and more games come. And what's going to happen next year is going to be very interesting. Is there going to be a big 3D Mario? What's going to be happening with the new Splatoon? How about Animal Crossing, Legend of Zelda? These are all the second wave of the massive heavy hitters that are going to help solidify the base of what the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be for the next couple of years. So it's a very important time. But for right now, yeah, you're seeing people rush out and them sell so well because it's just a sequel to one of the best-selling systems of all time. It's the concept that we know and love, but it's significantly better, and it's improved upon many of the areas that we wanted it to improve upon. So that's definitely a good thing, and that's the reason why Target and so many other places here in the US burned right through their pre-orders overall, because people are just excited to pick it up. So what do you guys think about what's happening here with Target and what they had to say in a corporate call? It seems like their corporate news features. Let me know in the comment section. But for the last topic, we're going to discuss Fast Fusion. This game actually revealed some new features about the game. You're going to be able to fuse different vehicles together to create new and even better vehicles, which is why it's called Fast Fusion. So a little bit of customization there. They showed this off in a brand new trailer. It looks great, 4K 60. The game is running and looking its peak and its best that I've ever seen Shin'en make one of these racing games or any of their titles. It honestly looks fantastic, and they're a very talented developer at what they do. They're really good at maximizing with the amount of people that they have to make the best looking type of game possible. And Fast Fusion just kind of shows you what they've been able to do with the Nintendo Switch 2 and that extra horsepower over the Nintendo Switch 1. So this trailer looks great. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun when it comes out. It's only $15 when it drops, so looking forward to that. But what do you guys think about everything here that we talked about, from Fast Fusion to Pokemon, and of course the Nintendo Switch 2 and new big games coming? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.